Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. So let's talk breakups from narcissists. Before I even begin, if you feel up to it, drop some of your thoughts about what's harder. Is it harder to break up with a narcissist or be broken up by a narcissist? That makes sense? So is it harder for you to be the one breaking up, or is it harder when the narcissist broke up with you? Put that in the comments. And for those of you who are new to this channel, I'm Dr. Ramani. Welcome to this YouTube channel on narcissism, where we do a deep dive on everything related to narcissism. If you're new, please subscribe. You want notifications every day when these videos come up. Hit that bell and give us a thumbs up if you like this. So let's talk narcissistic breakups. Really what this video is going to get into is what a breakup with a narcissist looks like. And at the very end, we're really going to talk about which one's harder, breaking up with them or being broken up with. So listen, no breakup is ever pretty, but these narcissistic breakups, they're uniquely difficult. So let's start this video from the position of you're the one doing the breaking up. Okay, you're breaking up with them. So you just need to be prepared for smear campaigns, flying monkeys, lots of defamatory things being said about you, vindictiveness, stalking, post-separation abuse, hoovering, rage, threats, manipulation, them going from seductive and rageful in the same text sequence, lots of texts. That makes you want to break up with them, right? So breaking up from a narcissistic relationship is difficult. Once again, keep talking about that continuum. At the more severe level of narcissism, you may need to have a safety plan, and as always, we'll have those resources in the video notes. But at the mild to moderate levels of narcissism, it's just their unwillingness to let go. Entitlement means that they don't like that you got to make the call to end it. And their need for domination means that they don't like that someone else has the power to disrupt their lives. And their arrogance is, why would anyone want to leave me, is what they're thinking. Now, obviously, if this is a divorce, it's going to be a disaster. Custody wars, financial wars, you're going to need an attorney, even if it's just to know your rights. Family court will not be your friend. You will need realistic expectations, and the post-separation abuse in the wake of the divorce may go on for years. So can anything soften this? The one thing that potentially could soften such a breakup is that the narcissist meets someone new really quickly. The distraction of a new relationship may tone down some of their vindictiveness, but not nearly as much as you may think. They'll have their new person, but still come after you with unfettered rage. And you might wonder, like, why the hell isn't this new person they're with see their new partner's single-minded revenge campaign against you as a 10-alarm red flag? That part never ceases to amaze me. But if they believe that what they're doing is making you suffer, that nobody's talking to you anymore, or you lose your reputation or something, that actually might calm the narcissist down a little bit. But then it means that you aren't getting out of this unscathed, you're getting harmed, so it doesn't really soften this breakup. It just may mean that they may slow down their post-separation abuse because they feel they won because you're suffering. Okay, remember, you broke up with them. Now, the extent, the severity, the breadth, and the depth of their rage when you break up with them may vary depending on how long your relationship with them lasted and how entangled you are with them: children, house, pets, money. Then there's always cultural and religious factors and whether a breakup will make this person look bad to their family or their community. All of these are drivers to this breakup, what it looks like. And as a result, there are some narcissistic breakups that do go a little bit okay, but that's not the norm. Be prepared for a stalky, vindictive, protracted mess. This is why I let survivors know that leaving is incredibly courageous, because you are really knowingly entering a very fraught, frightening, manipulative situation by leaving. It's also why I let survivors know that I understand why they don't leave and why we really shouldn't pressure survivors to leave. Some people may not feel up to the fight at a given time in their lives. Keep in mind, even if you wanted this breakup, it doesn't make a breakup easy, because you may actually have a real broken heart. There may have been enough good days in this relationship to give you some regret. You may not want to break up the family you've created, even though you know it's not good for your children to see you in this relationship anymore. And you shudder at the thought of having to share custody and not being with your kids all the time. You may also be anxious about your own future, about meeting someone new or what this unknown looks like. And some advice to you, don't post anything about your breakup on social media, especially if it's a divorce. I know the narcissist will, but it's better for you to play a cleaner ground game. If it's a divorce, social media posts can come back to bite you, and it's not good for your children to see your posts. It can also get challenging for your friends and family to see them too. Take any anger you have into therapy or into your attorney's office. These breakups and these relationships are uniquely unjust situations. And with time, the hope is that by leaving, you are ultimately getting the win, right? Now, what if the narcissist breaks up with you? Well, this is an equally difficult circumstance, but for different reasons. Listen, some of you in narcissistic relationships aren't ready for them to end, and will say that even though the relationship was volatile, many people felt blindsided by a narcissistic breakup. Because narcissistic relationships are such roller coasters, the ups and downs become the territory. So people are surprised when it finally culminates in an actual breakup, despite all the threatened breakups when you were together, because the ups and downs have been such a normalized part of the relationship. And listen, folks, survivors have pride and ego too. And something about the narcissistic person getting to be the one who turned off the switch can also feel quite unsettling and unfair to survivors. These relationships are toxic enough, and the narcissist doing the breaking up can feel like the narcissistic person got to pull the dominance move one more time. Now, the narcissist leaving doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be equitable or nice in a breakup. They may still try to stick it to you. If it's a divorce, they may still try to take financial advantage of you, and they may still fight you on custody, just because that's what narcissists do. They're combative and they're vindictive. But in some cases, if they do want out and they want out fast, especially if it's to go into a new relationship, initially a narcissist may be well behaved and kind of meet you where you're at. But after they start their new life with someone, then you may see more of the vindictiveness and meanness pop out. They may want an insta family and then want the custody to increase. The fact is, though, they just have to win. A narcissist doesn't leave unless they have something else worked out. In many cases, that may be a new relationship, but it may also be a new job or a new career or a more youthful life. Narcissistic folks are also really Machiavellian, and they will try to game systems every way they can, manipulating the timing of selling a business or other assets, fooling around with the timing of quitting a job, anything to ensure that they do not need to pay out an appropriate amount of money to an ex. Narcissistic folks leave because they need new supply, whatever that new supply looks like. You may feel, and I understand that you're getting replaced. You aren't. They just want new supply. They will want that again after whatever this new thing is as well. Supply ain't personal to them. You can plan on them blaming you, even if you are blindsided. They may gaslight you, saying things like, "Well, I've been telling you for a long time that I am unhappy." And your reaction may be, "Wait, what?" Those words may never have come out of their mouths. And if you do finally really call them out on it, they'll say, "Well, I told you in a million subtle ways that I was unhappy." The post-breakup territory with a narcissist is very gaslighty, and you have to hold onto reality and recognize that they are going to say or do whatever they need to say or do to leave them looking like the good one in a breakup that they instigated. They may still do a smear campaign telling people you can't imagine how bad the relationship was with them so they can get support for themselves. They may also keep you on the chain for a while and be sort of in and out of your life while they get their new life sorted out. It can feel like a series of mini Hoovers, or they may not quite move out and use your garage as a storage unit. They aren't thinking of your well-being after they break up with you. As it always has been, everything is about them. Now, the healing for survivors after they break up with you is complicated. Lots of folks who have been broken up with by a narcissist may get so pulled by their trauma bonds that they may try to pull the narcissist back in, perhaps because they want to keep their family together or to keep their home or because they can't imagine life without the relationship, even though it was quite unhealthy. It can be difficult because at some level you're trying to pull the narcissist back, plays on their own validation fantasies, and they may sort of get stuck in that toxic dance with you for a while because it feeds their ego. Be careful with this because over time there is the likelihood that you feel bad about yourself for wanting the narcissistic person back. It's human, but it's never a good play. And then they will happily keep playing that game with you if it means their needs are being met. Now, rumination is far more pronounced when the narcissist breaks up with you. You may take out old emails and text messages and voicemails and try to back construct what happened and what went wrong in this relationship. You may get lost in where it went from "good night, babe" in a text message to brief, businesslike, and dismissive in a couple of weeks. You may find yourself playing junior detective, perhaps even following them or getting a private detective. You do what you need to do, always be safe, but be mindful that all this time being spent on rumination is time that is not being spent on healing. The hardest is when they do leave you and they promptly do start a new relationship with someone else. Because let's face it, now you understand that that new relationship likely began on your watch and can play on all kinds of betrayal dynamics like why them? Why did they choose them? What am I lacking? You also may find yourself stuck in thinking about how this new person is getting the whole bright, shiny, new love-bombed thing that you once got. And this can be really pronounced as sense of betrayal if you grew up in a triangulated family system where kids were always compared to each other. Therapy becomes essential, and you got to have that slow recognition that this new person is just new supply. That's all anyone is to them. And where it gets really dark is when you actually come out of the darkness and start to heal. Once the narcissist recognizes that you may be moving on with your life, they may actually do a little hoovering, making sure that they still have power where you are concerned. Do not fall for it. It's a game for them. Keep moving forward and keep healing. Do not give them that satisfaction. It can take a long time to recover, and many survivors have to navigate both a broken heart and anger at themselves for being upset about ending a narcissistic relationship. But it's normal to care, right? There is no easy way to have a narcissistic breakup. Their problems with attachment, dysregulation, entitlement, egocentricity, and their lack of empathy mean that breakups just become a place for them to either punish you or humiliate you, and neither of those are ever going to feel good. In the long term, you will have the recognition that getting out of this is the best thing that could have happened. But learn from it because it takes a minute as you heal from that broken heart. Because if you don't learn from it, you're going to repeat the cycle. People always ask me that big question, which is worse, if they break up with you or you break up with them? And you've answered this now, right? Personally, I think the fallout is far worse if you break up with them, but that the potency of the broken heart is far worse if they break up with you. All together now, what's the mantra of the narcissistic relationships? I can actually hear you. You can't win. Always remember that. And when you try to win, you're just going to exhaust yourselves. There is no easy way to get out of these relationships. Thanks again.